Today I want to introduce our Get to Know Armenia 2 and 3 day packages that we customize to the client's preferences, and it's directed generally at those of you that have at least considered Armenia as one of your choices and a place that you would like to know more about before you make a final decision on retiring to Colombia. My name is William Hutchison. I, along with my wife, own Armenia Colombia Realty for Expats. If you add .com to the name of the company, it'll take you to our website where you'll find our current listings and our blog that might contain some information that you would find helpful. Our package starts with airport pickup, and we have access here to a well-located, furnished 2-bedroom apartment that I think most people would find satisfactory for their stay, regardless of how long they decide to stay. The package is, the basic package is 2 days. And I'll outline those 2 days in a moment. And then if you're so inclined, perhaps you've been here before and you're looking at rentals or maybe even a purchase, and maybe those that haven't been here decide after a couple of days that they would like to come back for some period of time and rent to decide whether Armenia, Colombia was for them. 2 things about that. Number one, you need to know that Armenia is for you, not just think. So it's advisable to come back after the package and check things out further, go into more depth than perhaps you have gone into in maybe a week here previous. The other thing is our advice to people coming here is to rent. For at least 6 months. I don't think anyone wants to get into a situation. Life throws curves at us, and I don't think that you want to be back in the United States trying to sell a property in Colombia. I know if it was me, I wouldn't sleep nights. Okay, so getting back to the package, the package starts with airport pickup. We get your flight details and those sorts of things, and then we drop you off at the 2-bedroom apartment. I have other places as well that I'm working on now, 2 others, but this 2-bedroom apartment is in a very good location. It's close to the major grocery store, perhaps 100 meters. It has a gym 50 meters away. It has 2 pools. It's on the first floor. It's close to some good restaurants. It's actually attached to a mall, behind the mall, that has a large store similar to Home Depot or Lowe's with some tiendas and those sorts of things. It's a good location. There's restaurants across the street with fantastic views, good food, and the prices are very reasonable. The first day would start off with a breakfast that we provide, and during that we would get into what I call an orientation session, where we talk about Armenia, maybe Colombia in general, visas, places to rent, places to buy, what sort of budget you would need, and get into perhaps other things like food prices, appliance prices, those sorts of things. After that, we do a couple of mundane things. One thing I like to do is take people to the largest mall in the city, 3 floors, spotlessly clean. It has a big box store similar to Walmart that you can wander around and check out prices, see what there is for sale. those kinds of things, just to kind of set your mind at ease that the product available here is not a lot different than the product that you would buy in your home country. The one thing you have to know here, and I haven't mentioned it in my other videos, it's an oversight on my part. All of the prices here include the sales tax. So for example, if you go to Renault and you're so inclined that you're here and you want a car, but you want a new car, you can buy their little Renault four-door Logan sedan for $12,000. And when you go to pay for that, it's $12,000. It's not $12,000 plus 19% sales tax. So all of the prices here include sales tax. And then I have a formula that you can pretty much price anything in your head to get the value in US dollars. Colombia, you rent for maybe $1,500,000 a month. Sounds like a lot of money, but it's only $325 or so. So you have to kind of get used to what the Colombian price ranges are. On that day too, I like to take people to the upscale supermarket. It's a store not far from the mall that sells a lot of imported things. You pay for them because they're imported, obviously, but they have brands that you know in your home country. They have Hunt's, for example. They have Heinz products. They even have Canadian maple syrup. So I like to take people there, just to kind of have a wander through there. I also like to take people to Centro, which is the central part of Armenia, to walk a street that has been converted to a walking mall exterior, and to see the shops there, to see what's available. It's not a lot different than the large mall, but at the same time, the prices there are usually better. You can see some fun things. Sometimes there's a couple of gentlemen there with goats, and if you want some goat milk, they draw it right off, and you have goat milk. Not for me, but people, it's very popular. Sometimes you see a lineup of 5 or 6 people to get it. You can buy a dog or you can buy a cat there, usually on Saturdays. People are there with their cardboard box with 4 puppies, and you pick one out and pay for them and take them home. So both days we have lunch, and the day is pretty full with those things. We're going to do some walking, we're going to do some driving, we're going to look at the barrios, and in some cases there's things of interest in the barrios that we want to stop, get out of the car, have a closer look, and maybe even walk around the barrio just to get the feel of what is available in those particular barrios. Day 2, we go to Salento and Kokora Valley. Salento on the weekends, normally I think Salento might have 4,000 or 5,000 people. On the weekends it probably goes to 30,000. A lot of people from Pareja and Armenia go there for the food, for the Spanish culture, for the music. It's not to be missed. And if you come on a weekend and we can go there on a Sunday, that's the day to go. The drive there is beautiful. On the way, about halfway, it's probably 30 kilometers altogether. The first 14 or 15 kilometers are on a 4-lane highway with beautiful views overlooking the fields, distant fincas, and those sorts of things. And then from that 4-lane highway into Salento, the first half of it is downhill, pretty much all the way. It's kind of a mountainous, twisty road. And it takes you into Boquilla, which is a very small pueblo, perhaps 300 people, at the bottom of a valley. And the Rio Quindío flows through that valley. And then from there to Salento, it's basically uphill. Once we're done in Salento, we go to Kokora Valley, which has the tallest palm trees in the world. And it's a beautiful drive again. You go by avocado farms. There's an area where there must have been a glacier come through thousands of years ago, and there's these huge stones in the middle of a field. That goes on for a little ways. Kokoro itself is a very small town, lots of stables. And in fact, when we go there, if you want to spend the time, you can go on a trail ride through the ponds. I don't think that the trail ride is to be missed, and we're certainly going to at least see Kokoro. And if it's attractive to you, you can get on a horse and have a ride for an hour and a half or so. Day 3, if you choose to go to day 3, we'll look at property. And depending on what you have in mind, if you're looking to buy and you haven't been here before, I think we should look at some rentals too. But that's entirely up to you. And I can arrange those sorts of things, but we're only going to look in the barrios that I would want to see you in. There are some fringe barrios here, or what I call fringe barrios, where perhaps 25% of the barrio is fine, and the other 75%, for whatever reason, and in my own mind, I think the reasons are mainly visual. You can get situations here where you have a nice high-rise modern building, and next door is a car dealership, and then it's followed by a bank, 2 houses, and a playground, or maybe a restaurant or something else. There's a lot of mixed areas here that if you stay in the better barrios, you don't have that. I think of Laurelli's, for example. Laurelli's has some commercial, but they're all basically restaurants, kind of quiet commercial locales. I remember renting maybe a year ago, and it was a beautiful townhouse, but 50 meters away was the Chevrolet dealership, and for most of many days you had to listen to them running their air tools, and it wasn't, for the most part during the day, it wasn't a very pleasant place to live. So that's the package. We can always do 4 or 5 days. I have found that 2 or 3 is plenty. There's no sense paying for more than you need. What you will end up with is my 12 or 13 years of knowledge here that you will get in a few days that would take you years to acquire. Dealing with us, there's advantages. We have a charge card, for example, that gives further discounts than ones are offered to the general public. I can tell you the drugstore where you buy on Wednesday and you get a 30% discount. Another drugstore where if you buy at the end of the month, you get 25%. Tell you where the best meat is at the best price in town. Tell you where to buy your fruit and vegetables. Tell you where to buy your eggs. All of these money-saving things would probably add up to covering our costs in 3 to 6 months here easily, depending on what you took advantage of. As an example, in some cases with the discount card, if you buy a television, you can save $60 over and above what the general public pays. And buying a couple of televisions and a fridge and a washing machine and small appliances and the other things that you need, it doesn't take long to add up to reasonable savings. That's the video for today. I am available. I'll leave the contacts as I always do below. Please subscribe if you find the channel a benefit to you, because the subscriptions and the likes are what drives the YouTube algorithm, and by driving the YouTube algorithm you get the information out to more people. This is William Hutchison, Armenia, Colombia Realty for Expats. I'm looking forward to the rest of my day. I think it's a little cloudy here right now, but generally rains at night, not much during the day. I live in paradise, and you can too.